So, Scott, I'm going to say good evening. It's good afternoon here, but good evening. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. It's about, well, it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You could say
Gotcha.
good afternoon.
So, a compliment and a question before I get to your art career. And that's when people say, who's the greatest Irish band of all time? Of course, the correct answer is Thin Lizzy. But I've had people from Ireland tell me it's not Thin Lizzy, it's Tin Lizzy. Do you ever call your
Well,
band Tin Lizzy?
well, see, that was part of the joke of for the guys of actually spelling it Thin Lizzy because they knew the Irish were going to pronounce it Tin Lizzy, right? So it was kind of a little inside joke for the Irish and all that, but it is Thin Lizzy.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. So I'm very impressed with your drawing, your art. And as the story goes, you hid it for decades, even from your wife, from your bandmates, etc. So now that it's out there into the public, how much art is completed? How much might actually come out from you?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I've got probably something like 60 pieces uh, that have been drawn, whether I want to call it completed or not. I think most guys like myself will say nothing's ever finished, kind of thing, right?
Sure.
But there are a fair few pieces that are finished. I will keep periodically bringing things out. As long as I can get a positive reaction with that, which I really have so far, and I really appreciate everybody really liking this stuff, I will continue to, you know, bring things out.
So we can now buy some of it as limited edition offerings through your website as shirts and whatnot. But eventually, will we see a full-on exhibit or a touring show, anything like that?
Well, there's been talk about that. I've had uh, people from different art galleries in this country, kind of intimating that they would really like me to do just that. Get up on stage and get the microphone going and all that, and answer a lot of questions. But I have no problem with doing that at all. So yeah, I think in the near future. There will be probably another exhibition. I already did one. That was my big my big
Reveal.
coming out party, right? Which
Yeah.
I will admit it scared the hell out of me when all that was going on. I had my friend Phil Glenister up there with me to kind of calm me down a little bit. Right? It's one thing, see, like coming out with a new album as a band member because you've got three, four, or five other guys to you can all lean on each other's shoulders, but when you're like sort of the Lone Ranger artist, you really are the Lone Ranger and you're out there on your own. So it was the first time I think I'd ever sort of experienced that. But once I got over that, uh, and I got the reaction from everybody, I was pretty okay.
Do you also paint besides drawing?
No, I don't. I've never been trained in well in anything really, but
Hmm.
my whole medium has been, pencil and ink. I just love the whole sort of shading ideas and all that. So, maybe someday I will get into maybe some watercolors or some oil or whatever. But right now, I really love the just the feel of the pencil and the pens.
So back then you were doing it as kind of a stress relief thing or when you were solitary. Now that people know, is it still relaxing to do?
It is. It really is. There's a thing where because I'm not on the road right now, and you have all this kind of activity going through your head, and it's a great way to get things out. You get them on paper. I mean, I watch a lot of documentaries, read a lot of things, get a lot of ideas, and I just like to see, can I get that on paper? Is that actually possible? Can I do it, get it on paper? And sometimes I can, and sometimes well, it's close, but and close enough. But so yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I really have a great time doing it.
Has anyone come to you about drawing a logo for their band?
Yeah, album covers, all of that. And I would say if maybe you looked at the collection I had and and you saw something there that, and you would look like it as an album cover, yeah, we can actually talk. But like a great friend of mine, Jim Fitzpatrick, who did all the Thin Lizzy covers. Uh, he was like this an amazing trained artist, and you could give him one word, right? And he could come up with four or five different ideas, different album covers. I was always just so impressed with that. I'm not sure if I'm that kind of guy because for me, it's like I get the one idea and I just stick to it, and I keep going until I'm finished. So to do maybe logos, yeah, I could do that, but to do album covers right now on demand might be a little much.
Well, follow up to that, some musicians can only create in a given circumstance or scenario or setting. When it comes to drawing, can you do it anywhere, or do you have to be in a home studio or something like that?
No, the what I used to do is I used to do a lot of these drawings on the road,
Hmm.
on tour. It's like from hotel to hotel to hotel, and if I didn't feel like sightseeing that day or whatever, I would sit in that hotel room with, my pad and pencils and whatever, and just start drawing, right? And I don't need this, fantastic studio and lighting and all that to, get me going. It's just I just need a little bit of quiet, and I'm good to go.
Got it. So, musical end of things. I know you're not on the road, but is there anything brewing? Will we hear you play guitar anytime in the near future?
That it's possible right now. I had a health issue scare about a year ago with a kidney that had to be removed, and I
Oh,
got sepsis from it. And uh, the second surgeon said I'd actually died on the operating table and all that. Yeah, it got real. He was like,
jeez.
"Really, man? What the hell is all that about?" And he said, now I had a third operation. He said, maybe you should maybe take some time out and just kind of rehabilitate and all that. Get your strength back and all that. So, that's what I'm doing. And in the meantime, I've got the drawing to keep me occupied. So hopefully, soon-ish down the road, I can get my buns back out on the road.
So it sounds like you're creatively fulfilled, even if it's not with guitar.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember with playing guitar in bands. I've been doing this for 50 years now, so
Yeah.
sitting at Heathrow Airport waiting for the next flight isn't really a new thing for me anymore. So but the drawing when I to do this constantly right now, that kind of is the new thing for me. It's something that I thought I'd never really do
Hmm.
as a constant thing, right? So I'm kind of enjoying this kind of break from the music right now and going into this little bit of a different direction. I mean, it's still entertainment, but it's just another side. So I'm really kind of enjoying that.
Well, I have two quick music questions and then I'll let you go. How's that sound, Scott?
Okay,
Okay.
hit me.
First one, did you get any platinum discs on the wall from Huey Lewis?
Oh, what from the Huey Lewis band?
Yeah, because, the fact that you and Phil told him that he should be fronting and singing and all that, and he was one of the biggest artists of the 80s and We Are the World and all
Uh,
that. So I just thought a few platinum discs for the wall would have been a nice touch.
no, well, I neither of us got one, and I never really even expected one. I was just really glad that Huey took the advice and got out there, and it kind of verified that Phil and I were right, that this guy really is talented. And why are you letting that other guy get up there and do the singing when it should be you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just glad he just went out and did it, right? And did as well as he did, because he really did do well, didn't he?
He did. No disrespect to Clover, but all respect to Scott. And the last thing, obviously, your guitar playing influenced generations and still is. And the twin guitar thing, obviously, it was replicated for many years. Take the band Rat for example. Round and Round, the centerpiece of that song is the twin guitar thing. Do you
Right.
feel like you got your due with all that? Or is it one of those cases where you heard someone else do it and therefore you were just passing it along?
Well, you got to remember, I think it was the Allman Brothers that did it before us, right?
Sure.
Uh, the difference there, though, is there was more of a country thing with them, right? Uh, and I think there was a couple other bands that did it, but it was a different genre. I think the difference with the way we did it is we relied a lot on the minor chord system, right? Which most bands didn't do or didn't want to do because it's easy to get the fifths and the thirds and the harmonies in the major uh, chord world, right? But it's a
Sure.
little more different in the minor chords, right? So I think it gave us a much sort of different sound because of that.
Well said. I never thought about the musical theory approach. Okay, well, thank you for that info, Scott. Looking forward to the eventual art show that I think will come. Hope you have more music in you, but in the meantime, thank you for the decades of great art.
Well, thank you, Darren, and thank you everybody out there. I hope you come to the website and have a look and give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. It doesn't make any difference. Just have a look. But thank you, Darren. I really appreciate it.